Saints fans, go to fox8live.com and register to win an autographed Marcus Holston jersey. Brought to you by A1 Appliance and Electronics.
I'm Blaine Kern, Mr. Mardi Gras.
And I'm Barry Kern, and this is our Rouse's.
It's not Mardi Gras without Rouse's King Cake. Rouse's bakes their king cake fresh every day.
Bake me something, mister.
I like the traditional king cake.
I like the flavors.
Traditional.
The flavors are better. We tell everybody, get all your parade stuff at Rouse's. They make everything from party trays, sandwiches, chips, anything you need. How about that fried chicken?
I always was a leg man.
Talking trash to me. Talk that trash to me. You're talking trash.
River Parish Disposal. Woo, our business stinks, but it's picking up.
Hartley sends the Saints to the Super Bowl.
The drought ends tonight. In the quarter, scarcely a creature was in sight until Garrett Hartley. And his kick propelled the Saints to Miami. Waiters running into the streets along with patrons, and the party was on amid screams of black and gold Super Bowl. A live picture now from Bourbon. It took only a matter of minutes for Bourbon Street to fill up what is obviously the biggest party in America right now. And this special edition of Fox 8 News starts right now.
This is a Fox 8 sports special, the NFC Champion Saints postgame show, live from the Superdome.
43 years later, faith is finally justified, bringing tears not of frustration, but of pure joy. Tears that some had been holding back since their dream began in a stadium that lives only in memory. To celebrate the crowning of the new NFC champions, proud members of the Who Dat Nation. For some, home at the Dome has never tasted so sweet. Countless others were there in spirit.
Oh, Buddy D, we're going to bring one to you.
A roller coaster journey over 4 decades, heartbreaking detours along the way, now is filed away in football history. Next year is now. The dream season was for real.
Favre sprints to his right, throws back across the
But go ahead, pinch yourself. You're not dreaming anymore.
Tails, you won the toss.
The Saints truly are about to go marching into a Super Bowl.
Good evening, I'm John Snell.
And I'm Nancy Parker. The march to Miami is on. 2 weeks from tonight, the Saints take on the Indianapolis Colts.
Let's go straight to the Dome. Rob Ennis is with Mickey Loomis.
And we're joined now by Saints GM Mickey Loomis, one of the happiest guys in this building because he built this team. How nice is it when you're watching from the press box to see that this team that you put together, they're headed to the Super Bowl for the first time in franchise history?
Well, you know, it's almost too much to comprehend and to take in. And gosh, I'm just so happy for, you know, the fans of our team that have been, been with the team for so long. You know, obviously with us for, last 4, 5, 6 years, whatever it is. But boy, our city deserves this, and our team deserves this. I'm proud of our guys, the way they held up. There's a lot of things that were going wrong, that we could have folded up the tent, but they didn't do that. And that speaks to the resiliency of the guys that we have, the character of our guys, and our coaching staff. And couldn't be happier, but I'm looking to be a little happier in 2 weeks.
What's going through your mind when you're watching a game like that? It's going back and forth, the shootout, and then you got a second-year kicker, Garrett Hartley, lining up for a 40-yard field goal to send this team to the Super Bowl. How much confidence did you have in him at that moment?
Well, look, there's a lot of things can go wrong with an operation when you're kicking, a field goal or an extra point. You got to have a good snap, a hold. Timing has to be right. The protection has to be right. But in terms of just the kick, him kicking it, I had 100% confidence that was going to be tried and true, and That kid's got a lot of grit to him. He's been through a lot in a short period of time, and he's been a great kicker for us. And you know, I think John Carney being with us for the last, this season really,
right.
And you know, even after we waved him off our roster, him staying with us was important for him, for Garrett, and for our team. So that's I'm just happy for everyone in our building.
On the podium afterwards, Sean Payton says there's no one he would rather hand that trophy to than Drew Brees. Take us back a few years ago, the decision to bring Drew to New Orleans. How did you guys know at the time that he was just a leader for this team? And Drew even says it was almost a calling for him to come to New Orleans.
Well, you know, I think the leadership that he has and the ability that he has there was no question about any of that. The only question was, hey, how soon can he get healthy in terms of his shoulder? And all the rest of it we knew, we were confident in. I don't know that we knew he was this good a leader, and I don't know that we knew he was going to be this good a player, but we knew he was going to be really good, you know. So, and now he's great, not just good, he's great. And he's great for our team and great for our city. And you know, sometimes there's perfect matches, and that certainly is a perfect match for, New Orleans. New Orleans Saints and Drew Brees, a perfect match.
Can you put into words the strides that Sean Payton has made since you hired him? Of course, he led y'all to the NFC Championship in 2006. Now you're going to the Super Bowl. He's one of the most successful coaches in franchise history. What has he been able to do to take this team to the next level like this?
Well, you know, I think there's so many variables here that it's hard to define and point to one thing. I think first of all, he's got great leadership,
yep.
And the players believe in him, and he's always genuine with the players. He always tells them what he means. He means what he tells them, and they can take that to the bank. And besides the fact that he's really good offensive minded coach, and I think he's one of the best play callers in the league, if not the best. Well, all those things being aside, overwhelmingly it's his leadership capability, and I'm glad we've got him, and I'm proud that he's always willing to look at himself and say, hey, I need to get better in this area or that area.
Right.
He's never satisfied, and he's open to suggestions. He's open to self evaluation.
Mickey, thanks for your time, and we'll see you in Miami. There's still one more to finish strong.
Absolutely. We're going to get right on that starting tomorrow.
Mickey, thanks for your time, and hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
Guys, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, let's go to Scott Fujita, who's at the podium. Thanks so much.
It's incredible. I've been here 4 years now, and for everything to come together on this night for the city of New Orleans, it's incredible. I mean, this was the biggest game in Saints history, and for that to happen here in town with these fans, I couldn't be any happier. I really don't have many words right now. Still feel like I'm floating. It was an electric night, and I'll never forget it. I mean, I tried to take it all in. I came in 3 hours early just to walk around the field. I wanted to, see the sights, get the smells of it, and it was pretty special.
Scott, can you talk about what we were just talking about? I mean, the significance of the Superdome specifically, especially with the last line of defense against Katrina, what happened in this building during the hurricane, and the fact that you guys were here in this building tonight winning this game.
It was just huge. Like I said, for me coming here 4 years ago, basically I came the same day as Drew Brees, and all we hoped for was just to be able to field a football team. I mean, we had no idea what we had. Defensively, we had 2 linebackers that joined us, the week before the first game that year. So there have been so many emotional ups and downs. It's been a roller coaster. But again, for everything to come together tonight the way it did, it just doesn't get any better. I mean, for me, this community means so much to me. The people have been so good to me since I first got here. They've been so good to me and my family. I mean, this is where my children were born. This is where I feel like my career was reborn. For me, it just doesn't get any better. Doesn't get any better.
And every team, I know players feel like they've got a special relationship with the city, but you've played in how different is the relationship between the team and the players here?
I've played some good football in some big football towns, Kansas City, Dallas. with great football fans. But the connection doesn't run any deeper than it does here in New Orleans. And the relationships I've made in these last 4 years with these people, again, it's, I'm at a lack for words, but it's really indescribable. Just the people here are so great. What they've been through has been incredible. It's really, to all the people of New Orleans, we love you, we thank you, and I'm proud to be able to represent you in the Super Bowl. It's amazing.
Scott, talk about in games of this magnitude, it usually comes down to who wins the battle of turnovers. Well, y'all won that decidedly, but yet it still came down to overtime and 3 points.
That was a good team we beat tonight, and they know what they want to do on offense. They got a great defense. Brett Favre is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and Brett Favre is a great story, but the New Orleans Saints are a better story.
All right, thanks, Scott.
All right.
All right, Scott Vegeta with some heartfelt comments, and I think maybe one of the great quotes of New Orleans, which has been not disrespected, but Brett Favre was such a great story.
Right.
The national media jumped on that.
Let's go now to Garrett Hartley.
Garrett, did you even see the made kick? Jason told me you were turning around. You didn't. You just got mobbed. What did you even see it?
No, I just knew whenever it came off my foot that it was going to split the pipes, and I just turned around and I guess put my hands up in the air and hugged Burnell. And just knowing that, this team's headed to Miami now.
And considering your season, the way it's been up and down, for this to be one of your defining moments, I mean, it's got to be gratifying, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think as my short time being in the Saints uniform, this is definitely the most prolific time in my career. And definitely the season's been a roller coaster ride, from everything from the beginning, the off season to and up to now.
I think Drew Brees told you after the Tampa Bay game we might need you to make another one later on. Did you think about that at all?
If that may be the case, then let it just happen. But we're gonna kind of just let this one soak in for a little bit and then get back to work whenever we meet again.
Were you even a little bit nervous?
Here's the funny thing is, last night I really couldn't sleep too well. I called my dad at 2:15 in the morning, and I said, Dad, I have a feeling I'm going to hit a game winner from 42 yards on the right hash, and I think I was off by about 2 yards. So it was funny, just the whole game, how things played out, and I just kept thinking about it. I'm like, is this really happening? It was kind of like Never Never Land, and sure enough, we go to OT, and the ball's on the right hash at 40 yards, and it was just an amazing feeling.
What's your dad's name? And
Bill Hartley.
And what does he do?
East Texas. Yeah, I called him.
Anybody else?
Sorry, I missed one of the other things you were saying. Just how much were you feeling? How much did you feel? Everybody, were you getting like good vibes or whatever when you go out there?
You mean after the kick? Oh, before. They kind of just leave me alone before. I think Hargrove tried to come over to the kicking net, and I kind of just pointed my finger like, no, leave me alone. Since he's the most, I would guess, comedic person on the team. Yeah, absolutely. There's, I guess, just times in everybody's career, everything's not going to be perfect. And honestly, for a while, when I went through my, my suspension to coming back, and then I had a game winner versus Washington, then you bounce back, and then I missed a 37-yarder versus Tampa. And, it's all a learning experience. I'm 23 years old, and I have a lot to learn. And just coming out here and knowing and trying to make, for my last mistake and knowing what I had to focus on and seeing myself and envisioning it was the most important, part about today.
Garrett, did Sean give you a little before the kick? Said he hit the fleur-de-lis right down the middle between the uprights? Is that what he said?
That's what he told me. I have no idea where the ball went, but apparently it went through the little yellow post. I'm not quite sure where though.
When you called your dad in East Texas, what did he say to you when you told him your premonition?
Well, he actually kind of told me, first up, why are you calling me? Shouldn't you be sleeping? And after that, well, he just said, you know what to do. You've been doing it your whole life. And it's actually, it's a very surreal thing. I've never believed in stuff like that before, things. But, it was fate for this team to head to Miami to play in the Super Bowl this year. And I'm just honestly honored to be a part of it and be a part of them. A great group of guys. And, I just did, one little roll out there today. They fought hard all game. I just had to do one play at the end.
Thank you, Garrett.
I'm not exactly sure who the applause was coming from. It's kind of unusual for reporters to applaud, but Garrett Hartley turning to, as he put it, his dad, undoubtedly his first coach at 2:15 in the morning.
Yeah, 23 years old, and he knows what it's like to fail. But tonight, this must be sweet because this victory hung on him. At the last minute, 40 yards, and it's such an exciting time for this whole team tonight.
And who knows to what degree, you can take this and overanalyze it, but to what degree the Tampa Bay game was a learning experience, and the fact that he was not able to come through there. But we hope to have more of the player interviews as we go along, and you see that crowd. It was insane how, as you look on the left side of the screen it was virtually a ghost town on Bourbon Street. And then, we saw those images of the waiters running out and throwing their arms out and just this spontaneous eruption. And then the next time you looked up at the monitor with the live shot, there were thousands of people who poured into Bourbon Street who were poised for this party, which was probably going to happen to one degree or another.
This is pinned up frustration of 40 years of waiting and hoping and wondering, and it really is surreal. When we got to this game, we knew we were going to win, but let's hear from Pierre Thomas real quick, and then we'll get back to the French Quarter.
In a razor-thin game, you seem to provide the difference for the team. You ran 3 times in a row and got their second touchdown. You got your long return. You got the crucial 4th down. What do you feel like? Is this the best game you've ever been in?
I have to say absolutely. This was an exciting game, In the beginning, it was just going back and forth, Offense kept battling, both sides of the ball. Defense was, both sides of the ball, both teams was slowly, trying to get up there on the defense, trying to stop the offense, and sometimes it was back and forth with the defense stopping the offense. And, this game just came down to the end. And, we overcome, on this team. We knew what we had to do, keep working at it and keep drilling at this team and not give them any inch, not give them any room to make a play.
Pierre, I know you had to dream about this moment for a long time, from a few years ago when you fought to make this roster to today, when you're a part of history in the New Orleans Saints. Was the Dome about what you thought it would be when y'all won the NFC Championship?
Oh, definitely. Honestly, I thought I was going to see some fans run on the field. Honestly, I probably thought I was going to see a few fans run on the field, but I dreamed about winning, and just seeing the excitement on everybody's face. And I told myself, we win this, I'm shaking everybody's hand on that field, the fans. So I ran around the whole football field, the whole stadium, and shook almost everybody's hand that was in the stands.
Pierre, over here. 4th down play on that run that you dove over for the first down. Obviously, there was a lot riding on that first down, whether you got it or not. How nervous were you during the booth review?
I really wasn't nervous. I was more focused. I was just focused about, what I have to do, my reads, and just read my blocking, and holding on to that ball. I knew they was going to come down. They was going to try to bring everybody down in the hole, in the gap that we was running to. And the only thing I could tell myself, I might have to jump. And, I know I don't got too many hops. I don't have hops like Reggie and all them, but, You know, they told me that time I'll probably ball Reggie Hops, you know, just to get over them guys for the first. And, you know, just for the coaches to call my name, you know, for that 4th and 1, I mean, it really showed me that, you know, they believe in me, and I want to go out here and, you know, and prove an example that I can get this first down and I can be a big player on this team.
Thank you, Pierre.
Thank you.
Pierre Thomas, so emblematic of this team, and, you know, an undrafted free agent. Drew Brees was very much a chance, not the superstar we see him now, but here are Drew Brees' comments. Boy, has he paid off over 4 years.
Drew, can you just describe, you know, what you've been through 4 years and to cap it off tonight with this victory and what it means to you, the Superdome and everything?
Yeah, it's a pretty surreal moment, and you know, words just can't describe the feeling, because, you know, you think back to 4 years ago, coming here post-Katrina, Sean Payton's first year. I'll remember forever the phone call that he gave me telling me that they wanted me to be their quarterback, and could never have imagined that things would have worked out the way that they have. But, you know, we had a goal and we had a dream back then, and it was to have this opportunity to go and play for a Super Bowl championship, and it feels great.
There were people who kind of left this city for dead and thought, you know what, it's not going to keep going. There shouldn't be a football team here. What does it mean to have this celebration going on in this city, in this building right now?
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And I think you can draw so many parallels between our team and our city, but, you know, in reality, we've had to lean on each other in order to survive and in order to get to where we are now. The city is on its way to recovery, and in a lot of ways has come back better than ever. For us as a team, we've used the strength and resiliency of our fans to, you know, go out and play every Sunday and play with the confidence to know that, you know, we can do it. We can achieve everything that we've set out to achieve, and it's been one step at a time, and it hasn't always been easy. We've had to fight through plenty of adversity, just like this city has. But, you know, when I look at what this year has meant thus far to this community, not only the regular season, but then being able to host 2 playoff games, what it did for this economy and what it did for the spirit of this city and these people, it's special. It's unbelievable.
Drew, talking about the spirit of the people, you saw what happened here in the Superdome when y'all won the game. Or you realized that y'all were the first time y'all have made Mardi Gras come 3 or 4 weeks early, that the French Quarter is now just a sea of people, as you would see just before the strike of midnight on Mardi Gras.
Yeah. Well, it's probably going to be nuts around here for a little bit, but that's expected, and we're excited about that. But, you know, it was as loud as I've ever heard it in the Dome today, and it seems like it only gets louder. But certainly, when you look at the weight of this game and what it meant for us to go out and get a victory today, we couldn't have done it without our fans. And certainly it was an all-around team effort, but it feels so good to know that we've given our fans a championship, an NFC championship, and we've got another championship for them that we're going to be going after here in 2 weeks.
Drew, did you get a chance to talk to Favre after the game, and maybe you could talk a little bit about the kind of effort that he had tonight, coming back off the injury and fighting through the way he did?
Tell you what, he battled. I mean, he's a warrior, always has been, and he's a guy who's played for such a long time. I mean, I remember watching him when I was in middle school, and so to think that here I am now, you know, 9 years into my career playing against him in an NFC Championship game, you know, the guy is, you know, he's a guy's unbelievable, and he battled. He's a competitor. He always fights to the end, and he gave such a great effort. Their entire team did. I mean, this was a hard-fought game, and I'm just glad we came out on the winning end.
Drew, you guys came out and played pretty well in the first half, but in the second half you seemed to be a little bit off rhythm. What did they do defensively to kind of create some problems for you guys?
You know, I felt like, you know, I got to give a lot of credit to them because they played very well defensively. You know, it seemed like we were just this far off on a couple big plays in the passing game, you know, whether it be just, you know, right off a guy's fingertips or whatever. You know, we missed a couple third down conversions by inches. We, you know, had a couple penalties that we shouldn't have had, and you know, way too many 3-and-outs. You know, that's something that stands out, is that, you know, we didn't possess the ball. We didn't, you know, I felt like when we got the first down or 2 first downs into it, we were going right down the field and scoring. When I say all our scoring drives kind of happened that way, but there was way too many times where we just couldn't get anything going, and all of a sudden we're having to punt the ball and put our defense back on the field. You know, we left our defense out there entirely too long, but, you know, what kept us in the game was their ability to, you know, get some turnovers at some critical times, and obviously that's the most telling statistic in football. It always is. You know, you win the turnover battle, your chances of winning go way up.
Drew, Sean has you guys coming in early again tomorrow morning. Brett Favre down. Now you've got Peyton Manning across the field. Can you talk about just sort of turning around and facing that?
It doesn't get any easier. And obviously we know the type of team that the Colts are, the type of organization that they are and have been now for a long time. I mean, they're a dynasty in their own right. And, you know, the season that they've had and the season that we've had, I can think of no 2 better teams to be facing off in the Super Bowl. And, you know, I know there's going to be a lot of storylines, obviously Peyton being from New Orleans and all those things. But, you know, the fact is there's 2 great teams that are going to be playing 2 Sundays from now, and it should be a heck of a game.
When you look at the quarterbacks, you've had to stare across the field at Kurt Warner, Brett Favre, and now Peyton Manning. What do you think about that?
Well, you're talking 3 future Hall of Famers. So I guess it doesn't get any better than that.
Drew, one last question. When you play a game like this offensively, and you're not scoring 45 points and things aren't going great, can you learn more about your offense through moments like these when you get a win? Yeah, you know, because,
You know, in the end, and you understand this, you know, you got to play the field position game at times, and, you know, when things aren't going the way that you want out there, I think that, especially in a game like this, you just need to stay calm. You got to stay the course, trust the plan, and understand that the most important thing is, you know, making sure that we're taking care of the football, we're not turning it over, we're not giving them a short field, which I felt like we did a good job of offensively. You know, no turnovers on the offensive side. We had the 1 in special teams, but, you know, at times you're going to have to, hey, punt them down in and play the field position game a little bit and just kind of wait for your opportunities and then take advantage of them when you get them.
All right. Thank you, Drew.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Drew Brees, the leader of the team, one of the most cerebral of quarterbacks. But it's interesting, Nancy, I was listening to one of the analysts on one of the sports networks earlier today, and his comment about Drew Brees was that, yeah, he's got great numbers, but he hasn't ever had the experience of leading his team down the field in, you know, a big game for a championship, and now he has had it. Now that is part of his resume and part of what, you know, his legacy is here in New Orleans.
Yeah, he did it tonight. And for so long, I heard analysts over the season say, you know, are the Saints for real? You know, they did well in this game, but are they for real? And tonight, I think we finally proved we're for real. And one thing about Drew Brees is preparation. I mean, Jeremy Shockey said that he thought he was going to beat Drew Brees to the practice field every day, but Drew Brees was out like in the wee hours of the morning throwing balls over and over again. And you think he's so good, why does he need that practice? But he was there. And preparation wins the race.
So much a part of that work ethic, and you know, as we've showed those pictures over and again of Bourbon Street, and the fact that it is like Mardi Gras down there. Let's go to Natasha Robin, who is in the middle of it.
John, it certainly is like Mardi Gras down here. The street is packed, wall to wall, people. And as you said earlier, during the game, Bourbon Street was a ghost town. And as soon as the game ended, when we kicked that winning field goal, people ran out into the street. There was confetti. People were hugging. People were crying. Joining me now up here on the balcony is Fred. And Fred was in Tropical Isle watching the game, and one of those folks crying actually at the end of the game too. Fred, how does this feel for you tonight?
This is the most unbelievable feeling. We've waited 43 years for this. It's just been incredible.
And you're losing your voice. You've been screaming the whole game.
I've lost my voice. We kept the crowd going. We kept the people at Tropical Isle going. It's been great.
Tell me, what do you think of this team? You said you knew they were going to make it. You knew they were going to go all the way.
I really did. I felt we had the faith. We kept the faith the whole time. No matter who we play in the Super Bowl, we're going to win.
Fred, what was it like when you went down there on the street right after we won this game? What was the energy like down there?
Oh, on the street, people are just insane. People are losing their minds. But you know what? They deserve it. They deserve it, and they earned it, and we're all enjoying it.
What's next for you, Fred? Are you going to make that trip to Miami?
We're probably not going to make the trip to Miami, but we'll be here.
Be here. That's
we'll
right.
be here. We're gonna make it. We'll be in Miami in spirit.
That's right. That's right. So you're going to go back down there now and celebrate with all the
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Fred. Thank you so much.
All right, you're so welcome.
John, Nancy, I mean, it is just wild down here. It's so hard to describe because you look down, all you see are people. We've had jazz bands come through here. We see so many people on cell phones. A lot of people saying they can't even get through to their family and friends because so many people are trying to call out right now. You hear the cheering going on behind me. It's a wild night here on Bourbon Street, and I have a feeling that the party is just getting started. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks so much, Natasha Robin. And I tell you what, the Superdome is a place tonight that people loved being there, and a few people are still outside celebrating. Let's go to Jennifer Van Branken.
Well, I know how many people were in the quarter because they were all here and they walked on over to the quarter. Check this out. Does that say it all or what?
Black and gold going to the Super Bowl 2010, and we're going to coming home with the hardware. You better believe it, live from the Superdome.
It is hard to believe. You said you were at the very first Saints game.
Yes, I was. That was almost 43 years ago. Tom Dempsey kicked that 63-yard field goal. And I just want to let you know that we finally made it to the promised land.
Did they have to, shock your heart back a few times?
Yes, it did. I tell you, it make you feel like you wanted to have a heart attack, but we finally pulled it off, and I'm glad that we did.
Now, y'all have been coming to the games for years, right? What'd you think of tonight when they kicked that win?
What? I didn't hear you. I didn't quite hear you.
What did you think when that ball went through the uprights?
I believe we're going to go. We have been all the way, baby. And Miami, you better be ready for us because we are number one. We are number one.
We talked to a lot of people, and they said it was so emotional. It was draining. It could not have been more dramatic than this game. And after a city that's been through so much, this is a reward. They said they had relatives up above. They know we're part of making this happen. So again, you cannot get better than this crowd at the Dome. Headed to the Super Bowl.
All right, thanks, guys.
I don't think they're going anywhere.
Unbelievable. Darren Sharper had a great game tonight. He's with Rob Ennis now.
And we're joined now by Pro Bowl safety Darren Sharper. You came to New Orleans for one reason, to get that Super Bowl ring. Yes. You're one win away from fulfilling that goal. How's it feel?
So close we can taste it. We still have a lot of work to do. We're going to enjoy this win tonight, do a little celebrating, and we'll start work in the next couple of days, but it feels good. But this is the type of game that just exhausts you. I'm exhausted right now, but I'm going to find a way to catch my second win.
Well, take a minute real quick here. Now, this is a matchup that you wanted to play Brett Favre and your former team. How much more special was it to win a close game in the NFC Championship, to send those guys home, and you're going to Miami?
It definitely makes it sweeter. But anytime you win a championship game to go to the Super Bowl, you're going to enjoy it and appreciate it. Beating Minnesota just added a little bit more to the storyline. Knowing a lot of those guys, it's kind of a situation which you're upset and happy. You're a little bit sad for them because a lot of guys that I fought with over the last couple of years, but I'm extremely happy that the new guys that I'm here fighting with and working with, we're going to the Super Bowl.
Talk about the job you guys did defensively tonight. It seemed like every time Favre passed the ball, he was getting hit. Yeah. And I know that's what Greg Williams preached all week is, hey, we're going to get to the quarterback and we're going to frustrate him. And you certainly did. He was carried off the field at one point.
Yeah, that's kind of been our MO all year long, is to try to, hit the quarterback, and towards the latter part of the game, you think you can affect him. And we saw that with a couple plays that we got in the fourth quarter. Brett's a tough guy. You can keep hitting him, and he kept coming back and fighting. And we expected that, but after a while, it does wear on you as a quarterback.
Any concern that you guys weren't going to pull it out when it's going back and forth like that? What was the confidence level?
We've been in those type of games, and that's the good thing about this team is that we've been in every type of game. We've been in games in which we've blown teams out, games in which we come from behind, tight games in the fourth quarter. So we were prepared for this. But, you know, it does exhaust you, and you can breathe a little bit more easy once you do pull out the victory.
Now, you made it to the Super Bowl in '98, your rookie year with the Packers. Of course, y'all lost to the Broncos. But 13 years later, did you think, you know, you'd get back, and did you think it would take this long?
I did not think it would take this long. As a naive rookie, you think you're going to go back each and every year, and I had the guy that we beat up today, Brett Favre, as my quarterback, so I thought I'll be back in the Super Bowl a couple more times. But it shows you how hard it is to get there, and the game you saw tonight lets you know how tough it is. The game could have went either way, but in the end, I think our fans really carried us. They gave us that little bit of extra energy to pull the victory out.
You look at the quarterbacks you faced this season: Eli Manning, Tom Brady, Kurt Warner, Brett Favre. Next up, maybe the best, Peyton Manning. The challenge of going to Miami and beating the Colts.
It's one of those things, baptism by fire. You know, you got the best quarterbacks. You played all year long, and it prepares you for the Super Bowl. So we know we'll be confident, but like you said, you're playing the best, maybe the best of all time. But we played against some pretty good ones thus far, and we think we can hold up ourselves in the Super Bowl game. We have to, because it's going to be a tough game.
What's it going to mean if you get that Super Bowl ring?
I don't know yet. We're going to have to. Let me get it first, and then I can tell you how I feel, but let me get it first.
Last question. To have a game like this in New Orleans for the first time and to win it for these fans. I know you've only been in the city for 1 year, but the passion that you see from these fans, how special is that?
That's exactly the word to describe them, as passionate, extremely loyal. It seems as though they were playing the game with us because they were cheering at the correct times to cheer, and I really think they wore down the Vikings. But this is big for the city, and we're glad that we can bring an NFC Championship, but the real championship we want to bring is a Super Bowl trophy here.
Darren, we'll see you in Miami.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for your time. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Yep. They talked about passionate fans. I mean, the whole time watching the game, I'm like, no,
Well, when we went 11-0, I forget if it was New England, but I was walking out of the stadium, I think it was New England, and fans are screaming and hollering, and one fan screamed, 11-0, baby! And then he got self-reflective and said, I can't believe I'm saying that.
It's true.
I'd like to know what he's thinking tonight, because he and the Who Dat Nation are either in spirit or in reality Miami bound.
And lastly, it was a lady at our tailgate party today with a picture of her father. Her father died in 1983, and she said, I'm bringing this picture of my dad because he would never believe we were this far. And I wonder what she's saying right now. I mean, this is just, for everybody, so refreshing.
Yeah, and you see the connection between the players and heartfelt in every one of the interviews.
We'll be back in just a moment with much more post-game coverage.
And welcome to the Louisiana Lottery Show. Here are tonight's winning numbers. Get in the groove and play Funky Fives from the lottery. Win up to $100,000. Must be at least 21 purchase. Thank you for tuning in and playing. All drawings are witnessed by a legislative auditor.
For over 100 years, there has been one special place to buy that important diamond, Adler's. Now Adler's brings you their most brilliant 1-carat IVS Princess Cut for just $2,950. Shop and compare. Adler's.
I'm personal injury attorney Michael Hingle. Have you been hit by a big rig like this one? If you're in a wreck with an 18-wheeler, we'll take them to court, and they won't be so big.
Michael Hingle has offices in New Orleans, Hammond, Covington, Slidell, by appointment, Metairie, Houma, LaPlace, Gretna. Call attorney Michael Hingle, 1-800-USA-JURY.
Before you accept a quick check, check with me.
I'm Al Balmer Jr., president of Balmer Foods Incorporated, maker of the world-famous Crystal hot sauce. Since 1923, when my dad and mom started making Crystal right here in New Orleans, we have been shipping over 2 million gallons of our hot sauce annually to more than 75 countries around the world. Thank you for using Crystal hot sauce to add a dash of Louisiana spice and flavor to your life. Crystal is proud to be
The official hot sauce and #1 fan of the New Orleans Saints.
It's been 4 years since our houses have been flooded. Don't get fined and have liens placed on your property. Demo Diva will tear down your flooded house, remove your slab, and backfill your lot at possibly no cost to you through the ICC funds. Demo Diva files all paperwork with City Hall and your flood insurance company. Demo Diva makes it easy. The check comes straight to you. Your property is a valuable part of our neighborhoods. Don't neglect it. Demo Diva, taking it down to the dirt.
Fast Tax offers instant refund and one-day refund loans, and our bank has funds available for our clients. Some tax offices no longer offer refund loans, so your refund could take 2 to 3 weeks. Before you go anywhere, stop by Fast Tax. No runaround, no worries. During this economic crisis, if you want to get your money fast, go to Fast Tax to find out about your refund loan today. Don't let your check be a slow check. Think fast. Call 504-942-8000.
Fast Tax. For over 100 years, there has been one special place to buy that important diamond, Adler's. Now Adler's brings you their most brilliant 1-carat IVS Princess Cut for just $2,950. Shop and compare. Adler's.
Hartley sends the Saints to the Super Bowl.
$40 yards and then a couple miles away. That was the scene on Bourbon Street. In a matter of seconds, the waiters, nobody was waiting on anybody, but nobody was ordering on Bourbon.
Food is still like in the kitchen. Incredible tonight as the fans pour out. You know, all those fans in the sellout Superdome have to go somewhere, and Shelley Brown is in the thick of where some of them are.
John and Nancy, yes, we are in the downtown CBD area. I got a couple of brothers here, Joey Schultz, his brother Alan Schultz, their friend Butch Millett, Chad Landry. You guys, just describe what this feels like right now.
It ain't your dad's Saints. We've been waiting for this for years, and it's finally coming true. We're going to Miami.
Are you guys actually going to make the trip to Miami?
We've been tailgating since 1997, and guess where? Who's coming with me?
You look like you're getting emotional.
Emotional? I cried twice.
What about you, Butch? What do you have to say?
We're going to be there. Mortgage the house. We'll be there. That's all I got to say.
And Chad, are you heading to Miami?
I'm going to do my best to get there. Got my pops, been going for 43 years. I'm so happy for him. He's coming with me. We're going to Miami. See you at a party, baby.
And John and Nancy, the fireworks have been going off here in the CBD. People are just electric, dancing in the streets all over. That crunk song has been playing left and right. I want to bring in a friend of mine, Kelly Schultz, in her professional capacity as the PR director of the Convention and Visitors Bureau of the City of New Orleans. I'm sorry, my IFB just cranked up really high. Tell me what this is going to mean, the city going to the Super Bowl.
This is publicity that we could never, ever pay for. It's unbelievable, and I can't even imagine what kind of business we're going to get as a result of this.
I talked to you a few days ago, and you said January has been a good month for the city. The Saints, the winning season has been great last weekend, this weekend, and this is really going to top it off, even though it's going to be in Miami.
Even though it's going to be in Miami, we are going to get national exposure. Everyone's going to come here and cover New Orleans. They're going to do stories about how to have a Super Bowl party New Orleans style. It is going to bring unbelievable exposure to our culture all over the world. You can't pay for this kind of thing.
Who dat? Go Saints! Let me talk to these guys back here. What do these signs say? What does your sign say?
What's that?
What does your sign say?
It says no country for home men. We took out Ford, and we took out Warner, and we're going to the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, we take out Warner, we take out Bob. That man needs a cane to walk. He's going out of the fucking NFL.
What about Peyton Manning?
Peyton Manning's next, baby. He's going down. We used to have Archie. Now we're going to take his little son down. We're going down, baby.
People Still a really exciting, going to be a good matchup, though, with Peyton being from New Orleans and the Saints.
It's going to be a great matchup. It's 2 #1 seeds going to the Super Bowl. It's going to be awesome. The party in New Orleans is going to be unbelievable tonight.
John and Nancy, this party is going strong. I got Mike Serio from Serio's downtown.
Hey, Shelly, how you doing, man? Hey, I'm one of the old-timers out here. I was at the game when John Gilliam made that touchdown run in 1967, and this is unbelievable. It's a culmination of a lot of years, and I mean, it's so great for the city. It's phenomenal. Can't believe it.
And the next 2 weeks with Mardi Gras, the mayor's race, I mean, the city is...
I think I want to tell Ray Nagin, I think we should cancel Mardi Gras the first weekend and just have Saints Super Bowl. It's going to be unbelievable. I think this is such a great opportunity for the city of New Orleans. It's our definitive moment in recovery. You know, Katrina's history, baby. We got the Saints.
This is a huge celebration. I mean, look at the crowd behind us. I mean, they just can't stop partying. They're loving it. My friend Dennis, how you doing? How you feeling?
Good, yeah. I'm really excited. What's up? What's up? What's up?
And Crystal is also #1.
Going to Miami.
John and Nancy, you can see just smiles everywhere. Back to you.
Okay.
Including Shell.
Go on. Yeah, I'd say she's got the biggest smile out there.
Right.
Go get that hat tomorrow.
All right, let's check in. Coach Sean Payton had some words just a little while ago. Let's listen to what he had to say.
You know, it's hard to come up here and really talk about the significance of this group of guys in that locker room and the significance of this win. I'm proud of them. Proud of our fans and the hard work that they put in to get us to this spot. And it's a pretty special feeling. So, any questions right now?
Sean, 2 questions. First, your feelings on your position right now, and second, your thoughts on how your defense played today. They bailed you out a few times.
They sure did. You know, there was a lot of momentum shifts in that game. Just after the game ended, you know, I had a chance to visit with Favre for about 5 minutes, and I've never seen 2 quarterbacks compete, 2 defenses kind of hang in there, the offensive lines. I mean, I tip my hat to Minnesota. I thought you had two teams that played their hearts out, and glad we were able to win, and I'm proud of just having a chance to coach these guys in a game like this. Garrett hit a big kick, obviously, for us, and you know, we just kept fighting. The momentum shifted back and forth, and we just kept battling, and you know, it was a heck of a game. I just told him there's a little fleur-de-lis up there right between both uprights, and I said, why don't you see if you can hit this fleur-de-lis dead center, and you know, you belong, you're here for a reason. And you know, he hit it true, and he's just been real consistent for us, and you know, obviously it was a big kick. You know, obviously it's a great defense we played, a great run front we played, and you know, we ran behind those 2 guards, the tackles, Goodwin and Pierre did a great job of just getting the 1.5 yards we needed. It's significant.
How about this start? Touchdown, Saints.
Back there, you know, that thing went back and forth. The game went back and forth, and you know, I'm glad we came out on the winning end.
Coach, talk about Pierre Thomas overall. A close game. Did he provide the margin for you?
Well, he played hard. You know, he battled. I thought the screen play early in the game to answer, kind of like last week, and he made a bunch of big plays. And he's been a big part of what we've done. So I'm happy with the way he played.
What about the kickoff?
I didn't hear the question.
What were they trying to run there, and what was Porter's answer?
You know, I'd have to go back, and it's kind of a blur right now, to be honest with you. I know this. We came up with the turnover margin, I think pretty significant, 4-1, 5-1. And credit Minnesota, really, 5-1 and to win by a field goal, that's unusual. And like I said, the one specific play, though, I'm struggling with.
Sean, can you talk about your defense overall? I mean, you guys made a lot of key stops.
We did. I thought the one thing significantly with the turnovers, John, you guys wrote about a lot of it last week, and I think you were accurate, that there's times when we've given up some yardage, but when you look at the takeaways now and the ones we got, I thought the one right at the end of the half was significant, 50-some seconds left, and I know it wasn't a clean exchange, but really when you go back and look at the tape, there was probably 3 or 4 others that we almost were able to recover, and we just weren't able to. And the guys kept fighting. We had some tough calls go against us that were frustrating. But as far as the takeaways were concerned, I ultimately that had a lot to do with the way this game ended.
Coach Sean Payton and Rob Ennis has Reggie Bush.
Experience help coming to this game, and that you have home field advantage in the NFC Championship game. First time it's ever played here live in New Orleans.
You know what? Obviously, that game, and it was tough for us. It was a tough loss for us because it was our first year, and we felt like it was going to be so magical to go to the Super Bowl, the year after Katrina. But obviously it didn't happen for us. But nevertheless, I think one of the most important things that I took away from that is experience, one, but the fact that the city of New Orleans was, once we landed, like 3 or 4 in the morning, was there cheering for us as if we had won the game. Sure. And, that just kind of showed us, the type of support, the type of, fan base we have here. And from that, from day one, we've always wanted to win this thing for the city of New Orleans. And here we are a couple years later, and now we're going to the Super Bowl, and it feels good.
I know we mentioned about the hat a little bit, but a little bit more. I mean, you're sporting an NFC Champions hat. I mean, all the blood, sweat, and tears that you guys from training camp, from training camp all the way here. I mean, how good does that feel? Hey, we're representing the NFC and the ultimate show on earth.
You know what? It feels so good. And it's such a special, time, for us, for the city of New Orleans. It really hasn't even I really haven't grasped it yet, just because of all the interviews I've been doing, and but. I think in a few days, or once we land in Miami, and it'll really hit us. And it's so special to be able to do this for the city of New Orleans after all they've endured, Hurricane Katrina. It's so special for us.
And you scored that big touchdown to put you guys up 28-21. They had to challenge it, review the play. Yeah. Take us through the play. You fell on the pylon. At the point, did you say, "Hey, I know it's a touchdown"?
You know what? Once I hit the pylon, looked up and hit the pylon, I was like, I thought it could be possibly a touchdown, but when I seen the Vikings, they were signaling no, and then the ref signaled no. I was like, well, maybe my knee must have hit or something, and I wasn't 100% sure. But I knew that, hey, I hit the pylon, so I have a shot. Right. Once they reviewed it and we saw the replay, the whole stadium knew it was a touchdown. Whether you were a Vikings fan or not, a Saints fan or not, the whole stadium knew it was a touchdown. And it was a key play for us to keep us alive, because it was such an up and down game. It kept us alive and gave us a chance.
Was there any doubt during this game that, hey, we're going to pull it out when it's going back and forth like that, and you got Brett Favre on the other sideline?
Yeah, you know what? When they had the ball, that last minute and a half of the game, I was like, anybody else in the world, I would rather be on that offense right now, leading that team, than Brett Favre, any other quarterback, because he's just known for those types of moments, and it just seemed like, hey, this would be such a tremendous story. Brett Favre comes back, Minnesota Vikings, goes to the Super Bowl, beats the New Orleans Saints at home. Right. So obviously there's a little bit of doubt in your mind, but you know what? It was fate. It was fate for the city of New Orleans, for the New Orleans Saints, and there's no other place, no other city I'd rather have accomplished this goal for.
The motto of this team is to finish strong.
Yes.
You still got one more. You go into Miami, and you happen to play Peyton Manning and the Colts.
Yeah.
The challenge of going up against the Colts and what they've been able to do as a franchise.
You know what? Well, we played them 2 years ago, and they beat the mess out of us. So, that's still in the back of my mind, and I still remember, that game, and I had a bad game, and that was just one of those games where you just wanted to forget quickly. And I'm sorry, I'm like cramping up right now.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Need to take a break?
Yeah, I'm all right. But you know what? Peyton Manning is, he maybe the best quarterback. Obviously, I'm going to be a little biased because I played with Drew Brees. I think he's the best. But, Peyton Manning is pretty damn good. He has 3 or 4 MVPs, Super Bowl ring, and you know what? We're going to have our hands full with this guy and that team because they have a damn good team.
We know how much you're going to be on Twitter. What's your tweets going to be tonight?
Who dat?
Who dat?
That's it. 2 words. Who dat?
There you go. That's Reggie Bush. Reggie, thanks for your time. We'll see you in Miami.
All right. Thank you. You too.
Let's go out to the field with John Henry Smith, who is live with defensive tackle Cedric Ellis.
Well, from one USC Trojan to another, Cedric Ellis, soon to be Super Bowl participant. Cedric Ellis, how you doing and how you feeling right about now? Is this everything you thought it would be?
And a little bit more, man. I've never been a part of anything, quite so spectacular, and I'm just kind of like enjoying the ride, man.
And yet you were telling me just off camera a minute ago that, hey, if you had gone to a smaller school, maybe you would be feeling a little more starstruck right now, but given the fact that you went to a big college program like
without being so nervous, you know what I'm saying? It's definitely a huge stage, and I just felt like I had the stepping stones to be able to play big in this game.
And I would definitely say that you are many things. Nervous you are not. Look at him, not a bead of sweat on that forehead. So let's talk about today's game. In many ways, today's game with the Minnesota Vikings played out the way it seemed to would play out on paper. The Vikings get the yards, but the New Orleans Saints, that defense gets the turnovers. And that's they kept the New Orleans Saints under 200 yards passing. They kept Drew Brees' offense and Pierre Thomas under 100 yards rushing. But 3 fumbles, 2 interceptions. The Saints got the turnovers and won the game.
Well, I think if you look at the whole season, we have been able to do that the whole season. There were some games when we weren't ahead. There were some games where they beat us in rushing. There were some games they beat us in rushing and passing. But when it comes down to it, we've been great all year at taking the ball away. And I think that's become a culture on this team. And we're going to try to run with it.
Is it too soon to think about stopping Peyton Manning and the Colts, or do you want to give yourself a night before you start thinking about that?
Oh, no, it's definitely not too soon. I mean, that is the next goal, and that is the biggest goal. But don't get me wrong, we're definitely going to enjoy this one tonight and get back tomorrow and watch some tapes to see what we did wrong. You can always get better, and especially against a guy like Peyton Manning.
Wait a minute, did Coach Payton give you any marching orders for celebrating this thing tonight? Be in by a certain time, or can you be out all night? What are the marching orders?
Well, Coach Payton, he just let us know that we still have one more game to play, but we're all men. I think we can figure it out.
They're all Super Bowl men, about to go to Miami to play in the Super Bowl. Cedric Ellis, congratulations. We're really happy for you. All right, now we should really take a look at the highlights of this game, so why don't we do that right now? I mean, it was a game, a championship game in the NFC. Really ought to be a battle of heavyweights. It ought to be a Frazier versus Ali, and this game certainly lived up to that. Let's take a look at those highlights. Well, the Saints knew they'd have to watch out for Adrian Peterson, and Adrian Peterson ran through them on the first series of the game, 19 yards to the end zone for the touchdown. 10 plays, 80 yards. Vikings go up 7-0, but the Saints came right back. And at the end of their drive, 8 plays, 76 yards, Pierre Thomas takes the screen pass and gets all kinds of great blocks down the sideline and goes into the end zone for the 38-yard touchdown. And this game is tied at 7. The counter punches have just begun. Next, Vikings have the ball. Percy Harvin gets the end around, goes around for 4 yards, but look at the back. Brett Favre gets hit by Bobby McCray. Penalty, 15 yards. McCray, 2 penalties on this drive. Randall Gay with another, and they all led to a 5-yard touchdown pass from Brett Favre to Sidney Rice, and that put the Vikings up 14-7. Now, moving on.
So that was an indication.
Saints came right back. You knew they wouldn't take this line down. Reggie Bush takes the toss on 3rd down, takes the pass on 3rd down and goes 28 yards. Big play from the big play guy, Reggie Bush, and that led 3 plays later to Brees. Back to throw, looking for and finding a receiver. Devery Henderson wide open, 9 yards for the touchdown, and this game is tied at 14 the punt coming down to Reggie Bush. He can't handle it. Minnesota knocks the ball away. And Minnesota recovers down in the Saints territory at the 10-yard line. It's looking bad for the Saints at that point. But 2 plays later, again, this was a game of whatever you can do, I can do better. And Brett Favre gives the ball right back. Actually, he had help from Adrian Peterson. Bad exchange. Scott Fujita recovers. Threat averted. Score still tied at 14. And that's the way it would remain at half. And really, that's the game. Before the game went into overtime, I mean, this game surely was a tit-for-tat affair. One team threw a punch, the other team threw another punch. This was truly, I mean, you talk about great championship games. Beyond the fact that we here in New Orleans are so happy with the outcome, 31-28, Saints winning the game and actually going to the Super Bowl. If you're just a fan of the game of football, this game more than lived up to any of the pregame hype. These two teams came out, left it all out in the field. One interesting thing about this is that so much of the talk before the game was on Brett Favre and the great Brett Favre, and what an amazing season this guy had in his 19th season in the NFL, how he had come back to the league just to play for the Super Bowl and for his sake, hopefully play in the Super Bowl. He had a season in his 19th season, he threw a career low 7 interceptions. He only had 1 game this season where he threw 2 interceptions or more in a game. And when you know, the second game in which he throws 2 interceptions comes in the NFC Championship game against the New Orleans Saints on this field. If this was the last game for Brett Favre out of Kill, Mississippi, then Brett Favre, it was an up and down affair. It's surely probably not a game that he's going to want to remember too fondly. The Saints had a lot to do with that. The Saints hit him early and often. They sent 5 guys, 6 guys on the blitz often and really knocked Brett Favre around. Didn't sack him that many times, but certainly the wear and tear. The wear and tear of that actually wore down Brett Favre as we go along. Rob Ennis is standing by. Let's throw it back to you, Rob.
John Henry, we're with the Saints' all-time leading rusher, Deuce McAllister, who had the privilege to present the Saints with the George Halas Trophy standing on that podium. What was that moment like to you to hand over that championship trophy for the NFC?
It was definitely bittersweet, just the down times and just to be able to experience, the upper, echelon, the pinnacle, to reach the Super Bowl, not only for my teammates and this team, but for the city of New Orleans. Congratulations.
What about for the second straight game? You're an honorary team captain. You get to lead the team on the field and hear all those chants of Deuce. What does that mean to you, and how special is that moment?
Well, you can't put it into words, how special and what it really means. Because just to know that you're still a part of it, and just to know, that you went through the ups and downs with it, and then to be thought enough to be brought back to be a part of this run that we're making, it's super special for me.
How much do you really feel a part of it, though, when you're on the sidelines, and the offense is coming off and you're saying, hey, I saw that in the defense, maybe you should try to do that. How much do you really feel like you're part of the game at that point?
Well, I definitely feel a part of, just helping those guys out, just helping them during the week and, just breaking down film and looking at different things and, and just to be an extra pair of eyes for him on the sideline and just to, tell him to look out for this. This is what I'm seeing. Because things are moving so fast. I'm excited and I'm so proud of him.
Are you surprised this team is having so much success? Did you see that during the offseason when you were training with him?
Well, you could definitely see it. It's always been there. You just maybe a play or two away and, just able to make that play this year. So, that's what you're so extremely proud of it. And everything is coming together. This is a time that we can definitely enjoy.
Did you ever think you'd see the day when the Saints are going to the Super Bowl?
You gotta. You gotta. It's a dream, and we're living a dream, and you're excited about it.
Do you plan on going to Miami? Obviously, you're going to be a part of it. What's that going to be like? Have you thought of that?
I'll be there. We'll take this all. We'll take it all in. You enjoy this moment. You take this in, and you'll start focusing on the Colts and do enough time. But we're going to Miami. We're NFC champs, so that's what's important.
Deuce McAllister, always a class act. We appreciate your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Okay, thanks so much, Rob Ennis. And he has meant, from the cries of Deuce, which you heard as he was presenting the trophy. Somewhere there might have been somebody leaving the stadium, but it didn't look like it. So. And he's been such a part of as so many of the Saints players are now, fabric of the community.
Well, you know what? We've been waiting this whole season through all of these victories for Tom Benson to boogie. And tonight we have some video of Tom Benson making his way around the dome.
day, so every truck is trying to spin, bend, and slice the stats their way. They're claiming the best this, the highest that, the most of something else. Look, here's the most important stat of all. For the 33rd straight year, more people put their hard-earned money on a Ford pickup than any other truck. Ford F-150, Ford Super Duty, best-selling for 33 years.
Now get $5,000 total cash back on a 2010 F-150 XLT Super Crew with best-in-class towing and payload, but only for a limited time at your local Southern Quality Ford dealer.
Finally, the people of Jefferson Parish have a local option when it comes to banking. Some financial freedom to do the things they want to do and the things they need to do. You see, Jefferson Financial Credit Union has expanded to meet the needs of everyone in our community. Jefferson Financial Credit Union offers low-interest auto loans, home loans, and more, all from a local lender who understands the needs of their neighbors. It's time to look towards the future, and the future of banking in Jefferson Parish is Jefferson Financial.
This is our New Orleans, and every day we work hard, we play hard, we enjoy our family and friends. And in New Orleans, we know we can rely on our neighbors when we need them. That's why the law offices of Allen Berger & Associates has been dedicated to protecting our neighbors since 1975. The law offices of Allen Berger & Associates, handling personal injury cases for over 30 years and proud to call New Orleans home.
The Saints are NFC champions for the first time and are going to the Super Bowl, and Wilson has just released the NFC Champions Game football to the public. This is the same football used in the historic game at the Superdome, with the addition of a third commemorative panel with the Saints logo, the words 2009 NFC Champions, and the score of the historic game. This is the same ball used during the most historic win in Saints history. Order yours today for $129.95 plus shipping by calling 1-866-280-BATS or go to spikefootball.com for this once-in-a-lifetime historic offer.
It's the same, only different. The forever fuel-efficient Civic from Honda.
It's easy to be part of the fun at Harrah's New Orleans. From the cool drinks and hot nightlife at Masquerade to our mouth-watering buffet and our delicious Best Steak restaurant, we've got it all. Kick it off right at one of our action-packed tables or visit our poker room. Try a run at our hot slots and see where the night takes you and your friends. For the greatest memories ever, be part of the fun. Only at Harrah's New Orleans.
You're watching the NFC Champion Saints postgame show on Fox 8.
It could get loud in here. The party is just getting started. After more than 4 decades, the New Orleans Saints are going to their first ever Super Bowl. And nobody has moved. Tom Benson, the owner, is here. We have Deuce McAllister, the Saints' all-time leading rusher. Of course, Sean Payton, Drew Brees, and we'll get to it. They're hollering Deuce for you to present the NFC trophy. As the headline of the Times-Picayune says, Super Saints. So, Deuce, take it away.
How about that, New Orleans? Mr. Benson, on behalf of the NFL, it's my honor to present to you the George Halas Trophy as the NFC champions.
All right, Mr. Benson. I know you're glad you kept the Saints here in New Orleans. Talk about what it means to this city and all the Saints fans and players over the years after more than 4 decades to now go to a Super Bowl.
Well, not only the 70,000 that are here, but think of the 7 million in our part of the country and other parts of this world that really are cheering for us tonight.
All right, well, congratulations again. We welcome in Coach Sean Payton, if I could. And that's right. That's yours and your team's, Sean. And nobody has moved from their seats. The first coach to take the Saints to the Super Bowl, Sean, how did you do it?
This is for everybody in this city. This stadium used to have holes in it. It used to be wet. It's not wet anymore. This is for the city of New Orleans.
And
I'm so proud. I'm so proud to be able to coach these players. And there's really no one else I'd rather hand this to than Drew Brees.
all right, well, there you go. Coach, way to go, Drew. Can I just ask you, Coach, before we hear from Drew, Sean, can I get just a comment on, I mean, fans around the country were treated to a spectacular game. How do you survive a game like this?
Well, both teams were unbelievable, you know, and just at the end of the game, you know, I grabbed Brett Favre and said, you know, he was tremendous. Both teams played out of this world, and again, I'm just honored to be a part of this and have these guys to coach.
Well, have fun in Miami. You deserve it.
Thank you very much. Who dat?
The Who Dat Nation. And Drew, you and Sean Payton came to New Orleans under difficult circumstances, and I know you have one more win in you. Talk about the dream.
I mean, so many words that could describe it, but I'm speechless right now. It's a moment that I've been waiting for a long time, and obviously the job's not done yet, but we're going to enjoy this victory. And how about these fans, huh?
They're great.
We got the best fans in the world, the Who Dat Nation. Now we got to finish strong in Miami, baby. Finish strong in Miami.
And around the country and the Gulf Coast, Drew, in the game, it was a real back and forth. Emotionally, how did you hold up? How was your team able to do it?
We just had to stay the course. You know, obviously there's always going to be ebb and flow throughout the course of a game like this, playing a great opponent in the Vikings. And we knew it was going to be a battle down to the wire, and but we knew that we had the ability to finish this the right way, and we did.
Well, thanks for all your work and a great game. We'll see you in Miami. All right, congratulations, Drew Brees. And Darren Sharper, if we could just hear for one of the guys on the Saints defense. And a cagey old veteran who gets to go to the Super Bowl. Talk about the emotional roller coaster of this game.
Oh, man, this is the type of game you want to play in to get to the Super Bowl. Our fans, I tell you, fans are the reason that we were able to push through and keep fighting and keep fighting. We got to owe it to y'all. Y'all kept giving us energy to have us to keep fighting and pull it off at the end. But this is what you want to do to get to the Super Bowl.
You took on the mighty Brett Favre, but you survived, and now you have to worry about the Indianapolis Colts and Peyton Manning.
Yeah, you know, when you play in the playoffs, you know you're going to face tough opponents, the best quarterbacks in the league. The Minnesota Vikings played extremely well today, you know, playing Brett Favre, and now we got to play Peyton Manning. Brett prepared us, but we got another tough challenge in Peyton.
All right, I don't know where the trophy is, but for all those years, you have that thing because there's a lot of patience, faith, and love. Why don't you and your teammates, Darren, can you share it with the Saints fans?
It's been a long time, but this time we're going to win it.
All right, can you take it around the stadium? We got people waiting for you. All right, good luck, Darren. Have fun. We'll see you in Miami. And we'll follow you as you take the trophy around to the fans and those who have supported the Saints for all these years. Let's now go back to Kurt Menefee.
All right, the celebration.
Darren Sharper with the George Halas Trophy. Of course, the ultimate goal is the Vince Lombardi Trophy, which is the next step along the way. Coach Payton saying the stadium's wet no more. It may have been wet with some tears, at least a little wet with some tears.
The coach is a man of few words, and tonight I think is the most excited I've ever seen him. He's just kind of being excited in his own special way, but this was a great night. They showed the fans a lot of love, and now the fans are showing it back in the form of a party. And Natasha Robbins in the French Quarter.
That's right, Nancy. Bourbon Street has an unbelievable energy. You can still hear the cheers are going on down here, wall-to-wall people. Houdats who cheered the team on in the Dome made their way down here to the French Quarter, and we all know that New Orleans can throw a party like nowhere else in the country. We are proving that again tonight. The crowd on Bourbon, as I said, looks like Fat Tuesday. Of course, Mardi Gras ends at midnight. I think this crowd will be celebrating a lot longer than that. Fans say the win tonight is like a dream come true for every Houdat. Right after the game, we came out onto the street. Fans were just going crazy, running out from the bars. You could see people already making their way down from the Superdome onto Bourbon Street. Take a look at what it was like.
I can't believe this. In 43 years, we've suffered. We love these guys. We love them. We love them. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Oh, my God. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Y'all ready? Woo-wee. 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 Woo-wee.
Let me tell you, all my life, this is what I've been waiting on. And you know what? Super Bowl champs right here. Woo! Let me tell you, this is the most awesome feeling of my life. Just awesome. This is what I dream of. Super Bowl, baby! Woo! Thank you.
Tell me, how long have you been waiting for this moment?
Oh my God, 42 years! 42 fucking years!
You said they did it! How long have you been a Saints fan?
They did it, baby! We're going to Miami! Ain't nothing like it!
my dad worked here all his life. And all my life I've watched the Saints.
Ain't it ridiculous?
All my life.
So now what? Any chances of going to Miami?
I don't know. I hope so.
But definitely watching the
You got some tickets?
No, I don't have any tickets. Thank you. It truly was an amazing experience down here right after the game, and a lot of those folks started off here on Bourbon Street early this morning. They're still here tonight. Now I want to leave you, we got a whole bunch of folks that joined us up here on the balcony on Tropical Isle. This is what's going on down on Bourbon Street. Go ahead.
Natasha Robin, and we had one slip there. Our apologies for the very ecstatic fan and the moment of profanity. It is so loud out there that the crew may not have heard it, frankly, so our apologies for that. We'll try to make sure we keep it clean and family-oriented here, but you saw just incredible moments. And watching this stuff come in and seeing people cry and just the emotion, and the guy who says, you know, I've been waiting for this for 42 years, and he's not the whole way.
Right,
People have waited for 43 years, 44 years since the franchise was awarded almost.
And it is here, amazingly, and it's so exciting tonight. We'll be back with a lot more celebration in a moment.
Present the Advanced Auto Parts Monster Jam. Brought to you by Ford Trucks and Wolverine. Player ticket returns with more of your favorite Monster Jam superstars. Consider value seats at just $10. January 30th, the Superdome.
I'm Mike Rowan. I'm spreading the word about Ford. The Ford Escape, EPA estimated 28 mpg. And there's a hybrid version that gets 34.
Well, this is nice.
Have you seen the Edge?
I have not.
Plenty of room.
But this is cool, too. This thing goes all the way back.
Quality that can't be beat by who?
Toyota and Honda.
That's exactly right.
Now you convinced me to buy a new car.
I didn't mean to. It just happens.
Get 0% APR for 60 months on Ford Edge and Escape, or $3,000 cash back on Edge. Drive one at your local Southern Quality Ford dealer.
Arnie Philco has fought the people's battles in City Hall. As our city council president, he led the fight to create the Inspector General's office to fight waste and corruption, improve flood protection and crime prevention, work for recreational programs, and to create jobs for all of our citizens. Now, he's leading the fight for reform to make government more open, honest, and accountable. Let's keep Arnie Philco on the city council.
Disposal. Woo, our business stinks, but it's picking up.
John Georges is the outstanding business leader of his generation. He took a small family business and built it into a billion-dollar company. Most importantly, he created opportunities and jobs for thousands of people whose lives he's touched and changed for the better. I ought to know. I'm one of those people. Thanks to John Georges, I have a career with a bright future. He has the vision, the experience, and the toughness to get the job done. He changed my life. He can change yours.
Toyota Camry. It's the #1 selling car in America. But look closer at the car that so many other manufacturers compare theirs to. Toyota quality is legendary. 80% of Toyotas sold in the last 20 years are still on the road today. Toyota, there's no comparison. Now, lease the new 2010 Camry for $199 a month for 36 months. Or save in finance charges with 0 APR. To see why there's no comparison, visit buyatoyota.com.
Southern Quality Ford dealers in Winding Please present the Advanced Auto Parts Monster Jam. Brought to you by Trucks and Wolverine. Ticket returns with more of your favorite Monster Jam superstars. Consider value seats at just $10. January 30th, the Superdome.
You're watching the NFC Champion Saints postgame show on Fox 8.
Hartley sends the Saints to the Super Bowl. Garrett Hartley did it. 71,000 plus in the Superdome, an all-time high to watch a Saints game. But as Tom Benson said, the other 7 million people were also what mattered, those in Louisiana and along the Gulf Coast region that the Saints consider their target. And there were some of the target audience, some of undoubtedly something close to, if not an absolute record-setting audience. The Saints have been setting records for TV audience in the New Orleans market. I have no doubt that they did it again. We'll find out tomorrow. But just this spontaneous eruption of joy on the streets of New Orleans on Bourbon Street tonight. Crazy.
It was a kick heard round the world. Let's go to John Henry Smith live inside the Superdome.
I like the way you put that. A kick heard round the world, and boy, the joyful noise that erupted from these stands when Garrett Hartley's 40-yard field goal went through those uprights is something that I know that everybody here will not ever forget as long as they live. You can see they've got one heck of a cleanup job ahead of them through the night as they clean up this loads of confetti that rained down on the Superdome turf after the Saints put away this 31-28 win to send them into the Super Bowl. Now we're going to bring in Jennifer Hale right now. Jennifer, hello.
Hello. What a night, John Henry. Can you believe?
What an incredible night. You were actually there in the moments right after, you were here on this field right after the confetti came down. Tell me some of the things you saw.
It was amazing to watch the tears that came to so many of the fans and players' eyes, John Henry. I think, you hate to editorialize in this field, but I feel safe saying I think the Saints are carrying the people of New Orleans' message that New Orleans is back and it's not going anywhere. They've been working on that individually for 5 years, rebuilding their homes, rebuilding their businesses. Tonight, the Saints, the Super Bowl, that's taking the message to the nation and to the world.
Yeah, and certainly, I mean, this is not a scientific thing that we could never quantify how much the Saints mean to this community. No. But you take a look at what this team has done for greater New Orleans and even the Gulf Coast region in terms of helping this region lift up when it was at its lowest point. The great game in 2006, and now to actually make it to the Super Bowl and lift the spirits of just everybody around this region. It is truly, truly a profound thing to be a part of.
It's such a source of pride, and I think it's also something that brings the entire community together, whether you're in Kenner, whether you're in New Orleans, whether you're in Slidell, whether you're in Shreveport. This is something we can all be proud of. It's something we can all get behind, and you saw that definitely all day long, tailgating throughout the quarter and the Central Business District and the Warehouse District. And here tonight, everyone is so proud to be from New Orleans. Sometimes the city doesn't get the best rap. Sometimes we hear negative statistics. Tonight, there is none of that. Tonight, there is just the New Orleans Saints, the city that came back, the city that refused to die, and the city that's going to the Super Bowl.
One more statistic, 31-28.
Exactly.
Minnesota's going home disappointed. So now, I understand that you got a chance to catch up with some of the players after the game.
Yeah, you know what? It has been a fantastic night, but it's been an exhausting night. We've been running up and down this field for the past 2 hours, speaking with both Saints players and Vikings players. And we got to speak with Drew Brees, Fujita, Colston, Moore. And I tell you what, I was really struck by how emotional they are about this win, how much it means to them, not just as a football player, but as a resident of the city of New Orleans. Let's take a listen.
Guys, really for everybody in the city, and to be able to represent the city now in the Super Bowl, it's indescribable.
Do you think you were going to get here tonight, or is this a dream come true?
It's a dream come true. I mean, you always hope, you always work for it, but then when it actually comes, gotta feel like I'm floating right now.
So many fans say, we knew we were back, but the Saints are our message to the world that this city is back. Do you feel like that? Absolutely, no question about it, and I couldn't be prouder to play in front of these people. They've really adopted me and my family the last 4 years. They've embraced us since we first got here, and this is our home, and I love it. And it just doesn't get any better. What was the turning point of this game? Such a close game. When did you know you were going to take this?
I mean, there were so many turning points. This was kind of a roller coaster of a game, but when we won that coin toss in overtime, I think I knew we had the game.
That was it. Well, what was the home crowded field like? Was that a big factor for you tonight?
It was electric. I played in some big games here. Thinking back to that dome opener 4 years ago, Monday night against Atlanta, playoff game against Philly 4 years ago, big game this year against New England, but nothing tops this. This was electric. Unbelievable.
They love you guys.
We love them. We love them.
Best of luck in Miami.
Appreciate
Have a
it. Thank
great
you.
time.
Thank you.
I'm so happy for this city, man.
What were you thinking as Garrett lined up to kick that game-winning field goal in overtime?
I mean, he's clutch, man, and you know, we got all the confidence in the world in him, and you know, he came through for us.
To be where the city was and now to stand here with a Super Bowl appearance, what does it say about New Orleans?
There's no quitting this city, and you know, we owe a lot of this to the fans, and you know, hopefully we see a lot of them down there in Miami.
How big of a deal was this home field advantage for you?
I mean, it was huge. You heard it, man. You heard it. You know, these fans, there's nothing better in the league.
They love you guys.
Without a doubt.
How big of a deal was this home field crowd for you tonight?
Oh, man, it was amazing. I mean, they're the reason why we won this game.
Are they?
They put more pressure on Brett Favre than I think he's seen in a long time, and it's just an amazing feeling.
They love you guys.
We love them, too.
How big of a deal? Katrina, 5 years ago, the city seemed like it was done. A lot of folks feel like, hey, you were carrying the message for everybody that New Orleans is back.
New Orleans is back, baby. We're going to Miami.
How big of a deal was Katrina, and what is it like for you to represent the hopes and dreams of an entire city?
I mean, Katrina was huge. It was a travesty, and for us to just give this city a little bit of hope and them to come on this ride with us, I mean, it's a great feeling.
Congratulations to you. When did you know, or did you know that y'all were going to win this game? Was there a turning point for you? It was so close.
We had a feeling all week. You know, we just had to go out here and take care of business, and we were able to do that.
Best of luck in Miami. Everybody's hopes and dreams and prayers are with y'all tonight.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. So you really caught up with some of those guys from the New Orleans Saints, and definitely the emotion was flowing.
It was so much fun, and just to watch them, to watch their faces and how much this meant to them. John Henry, it was so much more than just a Super Bowl bid. I do not want to diminish at all the fact that we're going to Miami, and how exciting is that. But I really think these players had the sense that they were carrying the hopes and dreams of an entire city, an entire region that has been struggling to come back for a long time with them tonight.
And Jen, you were telling me off camera, you got some really good reaction from the Minnesota Vikings, which surprises me given the fact that they just had a crushing defeat.
You know, we didn't know if they were going to talk to us at all. So we just ran down to their locker room and caught them as they were coming off the bus. And they really were. They were really forthcoming. And I think the difference was no one can cheer against this Saints team because of what this city has been through. And we were able to speak with Coach Childers. We were able to speak with Adrian Peterson. Even Brett Favre, he didn't want to go on camera. His handlers kind of wanted to shut us down. But when I said, Brett, you know, you grew up a New Orleans Saints fan. You know personally what this region went through. I know this loss has to be crushing for you personally, but you have to have some sort of feeling about what this means to us as an entire region, the Mississippi Gulf Coast as well as New Orleans. And he couldn't help but say, yeah, you know what, if we had to lose, good luck. I'm pulling for the Saints. And it was really a powerful moment. We're going to have some more of that coming up tonight.
Jen Hale, I'm very impressed. If I had asked that question after a loss like this, I probably would have gotten punched in the eye.
Oh, I doubt it. I doubt it. You'd be fine.
Well, thank you for your confidence. But still, we're looking forward to hearing from some of the Minnesota Vikings about this game. I understand that you even told me that they gave the Saints some pointers on how to play this game.
Okay, so you're coming off this game. You know this team better than anybody else because it's really, I think a lot of folks would agree, it's a different team last week and this week compared to the team we saw at the end of the season. So I asked several of them, including Adrian Peterson and Coach Childers, if you had a tip to give the Saints as they go into this game against the Colts for the Super Bowl, hometown boy Peyton Manning, what would it be? And they had some interesting answers. We're going to have that coming up.
I'll bet. We can't wait for that. All right, but for now, stay tuned. We've got plenty more coming up on this post-game show after the Saints win 31-28 to advance to the Superdome. Super Bowl, that is.
All right, thanks, John Henry Smith and Jennifer Hale. And this is a city that's going to settle down in a couple of weeks and have a Mardi Gras.
Can't believe
it's just insane.
It really is. We'll be right back in just a moment with much more of this post-game show.
generation, we've been loyal fans of the Saints. We have celebrated in every touchdown and victory. We are your Super Chevy dealers, proud supporters of the New Orleans Saints. Now, during the playoff payoff, get a new Chevy Malibu for $189 a month. Better gas mileage and warranty than the imports. Malibu, $189 per month. Now, current GM owners can save an additional $1,000. See your Super Chevy dealer or log on to superchevydealers.com.
Nothing makes your car feel like a new set of tires. So partner up with Firestone Complete Auto Care during our January tire event. Get great values on Primewell passenger car tires. Popular sizes just $40, $50, $60. Or save on Firestone Destination tires for your SUV or light truck. All sizes, buy one, get the second at half price. Rejuvenate your ride with tires at any of our 1,600 locations. But hurry, sale ends January 31st.
Firestone. Together, we'll keep your car running newer, longer.
I'm Al Balmer Jr., president of Balmer Foods Incorporated, maker of the world-famous Crystal hot sauce. Since 1923, when my dad and mom started making Crystal right here in New Orleans, we have been shipping over 2 million gallons of our hot sauce annually to more than 75 countries around the world. Thank you for using Crystal hot sauce to add a dash of Louisiana spice and flavor to your life. Crystal is proud to be the official hot sauce and #1 fan of the New Orleans Saints.
Another week, another false attack ad from John George's. Aren't you tired of this kind of politics?
We've got to start thinking smart about our future. We need a mayor who'll do whatever it takes to bring jobs to this city. We need to create jobs in biomedical, aerospace, film, the port, and new industries. Make sure that our workforce is the best trained and educated in the country, and give small businesses what they need to grow and expand.
Mitch Landrieu, a mayor who will create the jobs of the future and get our economy back on track.
The Saints are NFC champions for the first time and are going to the Super Bowl, and Wilson has just released the NFC Champions Game football to the public. This is the same football used in the historic game at the Superdome, with the addition of a third commemorative panel with the Saints logo, the words 2009 NFC Champions, and the score of the historic game. This is the same ball used during the most historic win in Saints history. Order yours today for $129.95 plus shipping by calling 1-866-280-BATS or go to spikefootball.com for this once-in-a-lifetime historic offer.
It's an ultimate clearance sale going on right now at your Southeast Louisiana Hyundai dealer. Now is the best time to buy from America's most fuel-efficient car maker. During this sale, get $2,500 cash back on a 2010 Hyundai Sonata. Sonata outperforms Camry and Accord, and now it's $4,800 less. Or get $2,500 cash back on the 5-star crash test safety-rated 09 Santa Fe. All backed by America's best warranty and Hyundai Assurance. It's an ultimate clearance sale going on now at your Southeast Louisiana Hyundai dealer.
When you want a first-class road trip with your team, let Prime Sport be your game-winning connection for travel packages. It's an official fan travel partner. Prime Sport handles all the X's and O's you need for tickets, hospitality, parties, hotels, and more. Prime Sport always comes through for your family or business, offering packages to the biggest events in sports all year round. For more information or to book your Prime Sport travel package, visit primesport.com today.